Yo! Welcome back to my channel. I recently watched How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the 1966 classic animated version, because I honestly think I've only ever watched that one in full once, and that was like a billion years ago. And it got me thinking about the modern adaptations. I wanted to explore how the original compares to like the live action remake featuring Jim Carrey that came out in the 2000s, which is my favorite, and then the animated film called The Grinch that came out in 2018. Each of these offers a different take on Dr. Seuss's beloved story of the holiday curmudgeon, and I was curious to see how they handle the same themes of joy and redemption. And that brings me to put these movies to the test, to see which one is the most enjoyable, which one stood the test of time, which one told the best story, and which one is the Grinchiest Grinch, and which one sucks and gets a lump of coal in his stocking. Also, guys, thanks for tuning in. I am so ready for the holidays. I hope you guys are ready for the holidays. I even got my holiday socks on. You see my little Santa? I think I might be a little ashy, but don't judge me. Don't judge me, judge mama, okay? All right, y'all. That was it. So, I will be breaking these three movies down into parts. The overall plot and setup, the climax of A Merrry Christmas, the characters, and the conclusion and how each one wraps up. And then I guess I'll start by going from like oldest out of respect. So, you know, gotta respect our elders. We will start with the older Grinch from '66. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This animated classic that brings to life after the original Dr. Seuss children's book introduces us to the Grinch for the very first time on screen. The short story, adapted word for word and frame per page, lasts exactly 30 minutes. It starts with the credits over a snowflake, and I can only assume this is where the later adaptation got its inspiration to expand on the story. We see some Who's minding their business, singing their carol and chopping down a tree, and then we pan up to the mountain and we are introduced to the Grinch, who's just standing outside his cave like the badass hater he is. I mean, like, look at this man, okay? The toothpick. Okay, hear me out though. Look at him. Okay, I'm just kidding. He's a bitter green creature who despises Christmas off jump. No rhyme, no reason. Well, there's a little bit of rhyme, but you know, no reason. You see what I did? But for real, the rhyme itself was even confused and questioning why he hated Christmas or why he was the way he was at all. This all starts on Christmas Eve, and he plots to steal it from the Who's from Whoville. He does claim not to like the noise, and he also seems to really enjoy sewing as he really gets into the spirit when he's making his suit, and like make sure every little detail is put together. A very upcycled king. And then he just literally ties a stick to Max's head and like, boo, no effort. Now we jump 34 years later, and Universal decided that we needed live action adaptation of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This was in the year 2000, starring Jim Carrey, which elaborates the 30-minute short into a full-blown 2-hour feature. This one, out of all of them, is the most elaborate of the three plot lines. It starts off with a snowflake, and we see the town of Whoville, and we see the town is bustling and getting ready for Christmas, and I have to say that the set is phenomenal. Something to say about practical sets that really bring out the movie magic to, like, bring the movie magic to life. And then we cut to a couple of teen Who's who decide that climbing up a snowy mountain to bother the Grinch was in their like fun times. Who then he returns and scares them, rightfully so, since they disturbed his peace. Goes down into town in disguise to disturb their peace, while mixing up all the Who's mail and giving them jury duty hilariously. He runs into Cindy Lou, whose dad, Lulu, who actually works at that said post office. Uncharacteristically, the Grinch ends up saving Cindy Lou from being crushed, and that leaves her feeling very conflicted on why everyone treated and acts like he is he who shall not be named.
That wouldn't. We do not speak his name.
And also fuels her start to question really what the holiday spirit is all about, because the entire town is really only focused on gifts and celebrating and decorating, and it's really causing the city to be chaotically hectic. She goes on her investigative journalism, and here is where we learn a little bit more about the history of Whoville and the childhood of the Grinch, and that he was once a part of the community, and that babies also just blow in from the wind in their little umbrella baskets, but okay. And the Grinch just accidentally landed on the steps of two old ladies who were in the midst of having, you know, what I think is a swingers party. We also get the backstories of the mayor and the ex-Miss Baddie herself, Miss Martha May Whovier. The mayor had a crush on Martha, and Marcia had a crush on the Grinch, which then led to some severe bullying, which in turn made the Grinch have a mental breakdown and thus started his hatred of the holiday. After hearing the Grinch's story, it weighs on little Cindy Lou to invite the Grinch to come back and celebrate Christmas and embrace the holiday. And well, all that goes to shit, because when the Grinch does come down and he shows up and he was just enjoying himself along with the rest of the Who's, who at first were very welcoming to him, until the grown-up bully, the mayor, decides to trigger the Grinch's PTSD and prank him by embarrassing him in front of everyone, sending the Grinch into a chaotic spiral, rightfully so, I understand, and on a path of destruction as he flees the town back to his cave. And this is where he plots his revenge. Now we're gonna jump to the most recent adaptation, The Grinch that came out in 2018, jumping back into animation with this Illumination-produced CGI film featuring the voice of Benedict Cumberbatch as the Grinch. This one felt really flat to me. It was missing a lot of that added magic and fantasy that the 2000s added and the original kind of just produced. The original even gave more drama and personality in the 30 minutes, where this one just kind of felt like it wanted to touch more on something like a mental health awareness, but didn't quite commit due to it, I'm assuming, being more so geared towards children. So it gets super dumbed down, which has honestly been a terrible trend for children's shows and films as of recently. Looking at you, Teen Titans Go. Anyway. This starts with no snowflake at all. It actually starts off with what looks like possibly the Swift Selps based off of the clothing, and then there's skiing birds. I don't know what that is. And then we see Whoville still getting ready and decorating the city for Christmas. And then we just pan up to the mountain to the Grinch's cave, which is actually very neat and tidy. It's kind of like one of those little cottages, something like you'd find on like Airbnb or Vrbo when you're like traveling abroad and you want to stay in one of those like unique stays, like a glass house or on the side of a mountain. Then they play Tyler the Creator's version of the Grinch song, which honestly sucks, and I hated it. The Grinch is honestly just a recluse in this one who just ran out of food and is forced to go into town to grocery shop. Though no one seems to acknowledge his existence, and when he does interact, he's just honestly a jerk unprovoked, but I guess if you're just ignored, you'd be a jerk, I don't know. Then like one of the funniest scenes of this entire 85-minute film comes when the Grinch gets accosted by some carolers, which in my opinion is more than enough reason to actually want to cause a revolt, because why would you do that? He runs into Cindy Lou who is the spitting image of Edith from Despicable Me. It's like, we're recycling characters here, Illumination. Let's get some originality. And she's just trying to get her letter to Santa, and the Grinch projects onto her that she is just selfish, and then he just goes on his way home. On his way, we do meet Kenan Thompson, randomly unnecessary but hilarious little new character named Bricklebomb.
Man, I don't know what's in this cake, but I think I just saw Santa Claus. Let me get another piece.
It really serves no purpose in this show. In that year, the Who's decide that they're going to go 3 times bigger, louder, and more Xmas-y this year. In his attempt to destroy their overly huge Christmas tree, the Grinch goes into an overstimulated fit because of all the lights and noise, sending him to plan out how to stop Christmas from happening altogether. He was just trying to tear down the tree. How each Grinch went about stealing Christmas varied vastly as well. In the original animated film, the Grinch was just a ninja Black Ops level of stealth, and I think by far steals Christmas the best. He seamlessly steals candy from sleeping children, and if anyone knows the grip of children is like stronger than Gorilla Glue, especially when candy is in their hands. Like you're not getting that. Then he takes his pettiness up to the max by stealing things that really have nothing to do with the holiday and Christmas at all. He steals ice cubes, light bulbs, and like, how petty do you have to be to steal just the petals off of the flowers? Cindy Lou gets out of bed and didn't really notice a damn thing and was just given a glass of milk or water and sent right back up to bed. Like it was just a very quick interaction. And the Who's wake up and the Grinch is standing at the top of the mountain and he hears them decide to sing their carol loud and proud anyway, invoking what looks like the spirit of Christmas. And I'm assuming that that spirit of Christmas is what hits this Grinch right in the kicker and causes his heart to grow, and he returns everything stolen and spends Christmas with the Who's. The end. Again, it was 30 minutes, it was very short, cut and dry, simple. In Jim Carrey's version, the climax is heightened with a bunch of humor-packed scenes where the Grinch is just running amok and causing like as much noise and destruction as he possibly can.
He took the roast beast.
Cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch,
He steals everything from the Who's and also gets a little home aloneing in and sets the mayor up with some deserving get-backs.
You gotta get your lick back.
He gets caught by the most inquisitive Cindy Lou who asks why he has taken their tree, and he lies, and then she just goes back to bed. And when she wakes up, literally the look of betrayal on her face deserved an Oscar alone.
nice kid. Bad judge of character.
It was so sad. He successfully gets all the stolen stuff up and is about to dump it at Crumpet, where he lives. And then he hears the funniest thing. The Who start crying in song. It's the most dramatic thing ever. Then the bully mayor decides he wants to blame all of this on a child who literally also got robbed. And her dad ends up standing up to him finally and tells everyone that Cindy was right all along and that the true meaning of Christmas is about compassion and family and non-materialistic things. And they all change their minds and start to sing their carol. And you know, I understand why the Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes, because like, come on, that's it. That's the meaning. That's the message. And then he starts to have the feels, but then the sleigh is about to fall off the mountain, and then Grinch is trying to like, you know, save it, and then he's like, oh, let it go because it's all stuff, right? And then all of a sudden he sees Cindy Lou on top of the sleigh as it's about to go off the mountain, and we didn't know she snuck off while everybody was singing down in Whoville, and she still believed that the Grinch deserved to be included anyway, so that he could be forgiven, and they understand, and actually thank him for waking them up to being what the true meaning of the holidays is. And as she's about to plummet to her demise, the Grinch summons the strength of the Hulk and just literally just lifts up the sleigh. It's crazy. And they end up riding down the mountain to return everything. The Who's and the Grinch make amends. Martha finally announces her love for the Grinch, and the mayor has to sit in it, and the fact that, one monkey don't stop no show, boo-boo. And they end with the iconic feast. Peak. All right, so then we go to the 2018 adaptation, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie to y'all guys, I watched this again. This is the second time I watched it, and I was just really bored. I watched this before I watched the other Grinch, mind you. This movie is just filled with random filler, and like, instead of creating and building the world through like backstory, like the 2000s, this one just decides to fill its minutes and expand the prep time leading up to the theft of Christmas. Like, the Grinch doesn't even get to the stealing until the last 30 minutes. And then they just rapidly wrap everything up in a quick accountability speech, and then there's like no harm done, the end. But like, We literally sat there for a full 45 minutes seeing Cindy Lou Who team up with some other kids in town who we really only got to ever really see once. And one just looks like they purposely animated it to look like a minion.
48 hours. We're going to do something that's never been done before. We're gonna trap Santa Claus.
They come up with a plan to kidnap Santa so Cindy can ask him to help her mom, who is a single parent. And then it splits between the Grinch, and he's just playing with the moose half the time, who ended up not serving any other purpose. Then I'm just gonna assume it was just trying to be a random tie-in to toy sales. But that really kind of takes away from any of the iconic characters that really could have had, like could have just had Max as a toy. And then we get to the monumentous event, and it's just fast-paced, overlaid with the Grinch not even doing all of the thefts himself. Like, we really don't get too much of him in the house. It's really just outside, and it's just a bunch of him and Max's in different positions stealing. And I think this really just kind of goes against Max's character, and he was supposed to represent like the Grinch's humanity, his heart to a point. He was always depicted as just like a happy little pup and actively against the Grinch's ploys, but like reluctantly loyal to his master and friend still, you know? Gotta make sure you come out of this all right. This version just kind of made him happy, but like a henchman with like no pushback, like he was just there. We get the same ending where he hears them singing and he returns everything. They had no idea that it was him. Again, they don't even pay this man no mind. He don't exist to them. He does not live there is no rent. So then he just goes home after he apologizes, and you know, Cindy Lou goes to invite him back to the city, and they're like, okay, that's cool. Come back to celebrate with everyone again, and it finishes with the feast, and then that's it. Done. Where's the movie? Come on. I need the drama. I need stakes. Holiday cheer or something. Now, like, we're gonna break down the characters, right? The 1966 Grinch is literally just a misunderstood, grumpy, bitter character, and that was it. He didn't need more. He was just a hater from the moment we first laid eyes on him, plain and simple. Max was just a happy, loyal, silly little pup. The animators were the same animators from, you know, the Looney Tunes era, so we got a little bit of his personality. We saw Cindy Lou a little bit, like 3 times, but nobody had any lines in this version, except for like the narrator and the Grinch, who was also the narrator, since they shared the same voice actor. So I can only really assume that this was an autobiographic story. We'll jump to the 2000s, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. We have Jim Carrey, who shines in a master of crazy expressions and improv, and really gave so much personality, added jokes that just make this such an enjoyable watch, especially when it came out when I was like 11, and then rewatching this as I am now an adult, and I catch on to so many more quips and details and innuendos that I missed, or that like literally went over in my head the first couple of times. So I watch this every year, honestly.
Hey honey, our baby's here! He looks just like your boss.
So we do also get to know an entire ensemble cast, from the bully mayor to the overdramatic Martha, who lusts after the Grinch. We get the entire Lou Who family, okay? It ain't just Cindy. We actually get to follow more of, you know, the Who family throughout the entire film. It starts with the eldest sons, Drew Lou and Stu Lou, who are the ones that lead us up the mountain and introduce the Grinch in the first bit by trying to impress their girlfriends, you know, at the Grinch's door. Though we do previously see Drew talking to a different girl in an earlier scene. I see your game, Drew. I see it. I peep it. I peep it. I peep it. And they also are the ones that kind of let us know that the Grinch is a topic not to be talked about. You know, we don't talk about Grinchy, no, 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 in town. Then Cindy Lou takes over the bulk of the weight of the movie. You know, we gotta have her. But you can't forget about the mom, Betty Lou who hilariously is played by Molly Shannon and is in a Christmas lights competition with the bougie rich biche Martha. That scene is probably one of my favorites, and having the best Christmas lights on the block, I don't know if you guys know this, or in the neighborhood, used to be a thing, okay? It used to be a major thing, like awards would be one. And then we're back to the 2018 Grinch. Benedict Cumberbatch is okay. I'm not gonna say that his voice acting was terrible, because it wasn't. The movie gave nothing interesting to the story. So like, you know, the Grinch is tidy. It's just, you know, he's just a tiny homebody recluse who suffers, I'm assuming, from depression and PTSD of being an orphan, I guess they try to say, but like they don't even really dive into that very much. And you know, he seems okay and very well adjusted. He treats Max like a friend. They have conversations, but even though Max is more of like his assistant, he's still like, he's pretty well adjusted in his home, you know, compared to the 2000s Grinch where he lived in like a legit cave constructed out of garbage, because that gets dumped at the dump where he actually lived. So him living in disarray actually built a whole nother layer of story there, and added to his detachment and his loneliness and depression. But anyway, let's get back to 2018. It does have a bunch of other characters, I guess, but like they literally come off as one of those old Fisher Price Little People pop-ums. They did give everyone names, but that just kind of reminds me of like how they gave all the Minions names, though they don't differentiate in personality or character growth or have an arc of their own. Like it really just seemed pointless. Like I don't know these people. Nobody was memorable. So I do want to briefly touch on the music in each one. The original 1906, The Mean One, Mr. Grinch, is literally cemented forever as a classic. It's iconic. The 2000s had a couple of originals. Where Are You Christmas, which was innocently sung in movie by Miss Cindy Lou Who herself. But in the ending, you get the real version in the ending credits, and that's sung by Miss Faith Hill, and was written by the Christmas icon herself, Mariah Carey. So that one is goated already. Boom, you win. We also get a rendition of The Mean One, Mr. Grinch, which Jim Carrey kind of joins in and sings a little bit of that rendition, and it didn't take anything away from the original. In the 2018, it was just all Tyler Creator's Christmas mixtape, and it was just utter trash. I know it was produced by Pharrell, who, after the first Despicable Me, I truly believe Illumination is holding him hostage in their basement and won't let him go as they continue to pump out music from him. And he needs to just blink if he needs help, okay? Every song except for The Carolers that was sung by the Pentatonics, because they ate, was utter trash to me. I hated it. They tried to modernize it too much. So the Grinch's heartwarming realization that Christmas is all about love and community showcases the transformation from his character of being a curmudgeon hater to a lovable person of the community. The ending emphasizes friendship and belonging as the Grinch is embraced by the Who's and reinforcing the film's message on acceptance and redemption. We get to understand the holiday spirit through innocence and kindness. All three films, successfully in their own way, capture the heart of Dr. Seuss's story, but each one offers a very unique approach. Critics have praised that the original for its charm and fidelity to the source material, while Jim Carrey's adaptation was celebrated for its comedic brilliance and character depth and story development and world building and everything in between. The 2018 version, I honestly feel like it's really good for a CGI animation and like a more contemporary kind of relevance, I guess. Personally, I found Jim Carrey's portrayal version to be the most enjoyable due to its humor, its heartfelt moments. I believe honestly they all kind of stand the test of time, and you can watch them with your kids. They're all family friendly and could be added to anybody's Christmas watch list. I do think that, again, the 2000s told the best story. It gave drama, it gave comedy, it gave feels. It had really relevant message about materialism that none of the other ones really kind of touched on, and the spirit of the holidays, especially in modern times. And 2018 gets the lump of coal. Sorry, whatever. It is what it is. So if you enjoyed this comparison video and you would like to see more, please give a thumbs up, subscribe for more movie breakdowns and comparisons, and let me know in the comments which Grinch film you preferred and why. The full movie watch with me is up on my Patreon, and the edited breakdown is also up on my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers, and I will see you guys next time. I am Asha LaRue, and this has been another episode of Yo Asha TV. And joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let earth receive his peace. Let every heart that don't remember the words. And heaven and nature sing doo-doo-doo. And heaven and nature sing doo-doo-doo. Break it down. Break it down. Hey, 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 break it down. I thank you guys, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas.